Hello and welcome to another true crime story on my channel. My name is Mianu Mervis and this is Sad Reality TV. If this is your first time joining, you are highly welcome. And just so you know, I upload on my channel videos based on true crime stories. If that is something that is of interest to you, then you have come to the right channel, because that is all I do here. Why not go ahead and hit the subscription button as a free way to support my channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified each time I upload a new video. That said and done, let's dive into today's story. Today I will be bringing to you the horrible story of Phyllis Njeri and her boyfriend Jackson. As 2021 was drawing its curtains close, Maureen Njoki got an opportunity to work in Saudi Arabia, but her major concern was where to keep her two boys, 7-year-old Peter and 3-year-old David. She had initially thought of leaving the two boys with her grandmother, but things did not go well. The father of the two boys is actually a laborer, meaning he constantly moves from place to place. He is never steady. Maureen shared her concerns with a close friend, Phyllis Njeri, who happens to be the class teacher of her 7-year-old boy, Peter. Njeri will accept to take the two boys in on the condition that Maureen will be supplying her the sum of 13,000 Kenyan shillings for the two boys' upkeep. Maureen accepted the bargain, left Kenya and traveled to Saudi Arabia. During the first 2-3 months, everything was going on well until she began noticing that it was quite difficult for her to talk with her kids through WhatsApp as she normally does. It would be difficult for her. Sometimes she would call and Njeri wouldn't want to give the phone to the kids. And at one point, she got news that Njeri would not allow the kids to sit on her couch. When she got this news, she sent the two boys' father with two plastic chairs that the two boys, and told Njeri that she wanted the two boys to maybe be sitting on the chairs while they are having their meal. When Njeri got the chairs, Maureen texted and asked through WhatsApp if she actually received the two plastic chairs she sent to the boys, but Njeri did not reply, and Maureen began noticing that everything was not going on well. It was evident that the kids were being maltreated. The red flags were there until the 24th of February, when Maureen will receive a call that her last son, 3-year-old David, had been rushed to the hospital. She will call friends to go to this said hospital and find out, because she had been placing frantic calls trying to get to Njeri to find out why her son had been admitted to the hospital and she hasn't been informed. But her efforts will be fruitless, because Njeri's number will not be going through, and she will really rally other friends to go to this said hospital that David was allegedly rushed to find out if actually the boy, what was wrong with the boy, why was he rushed to the hospital. But when they went to this said hospital, to be precise, Mama Lucy's hospital in Kenya, there was actually nothing. There was during the checking the inpatient's logbook, there was no, David had not been booked into the hospital. They checked the pediatric ward. He was never admitted in that hospital, until one nurse realized how desperate their friends were in trying to figure out where the boy had gone to. She asked them to try their luck at the mortuary. Behold, when they went to the mortuary, at this stage it was evident that little David's body had been deposited at the mortuary. The name that was entered in the logbook was not Phyllis Njeri's name, but the phone number was that of Njeri. Maureen was given the shocking information, and she took the next available flight from Saudi Arabia back to Kenya. But at this point, because she was not around and there was actually no one to follow up or except her little 7-year-old boy who witnessed everything that happened, there was really nothing she could do, because Njeri and Jackson had already fled their home, abandoning the 7-year-old boy. There was really nothing to work on. The police were not helping her, and the only witness that witnessed what happened to little David was his elder brother, as he helplessly watched how his younger brother was being beaten to death. When Maureen arrived Kenya, this boy was so traumatized and scared that he wasn't saying anything. He wasn't talking to anybody. But when he saw his mother, he summoned the courage to give the details of what actually happened on the day his younger brother was killed. Peter would tell his mother that they were being maltreated, but on the fateful day David was killed, Auntie Njeri, as they fondly called her, had begun beating little David, until at one point she picked up the little boy and struck him against the wall multiple times. And when she realized that the injuries were just so fatal, she decided to stop. But it was too late, because little David had already succumbed to his injuries. She rushed to the pharmacy, desperately seeking medical help to revive the poor boy, but it was too late. Even before she returned, the boy was already cold. At this point, she picked up a whip, threatened Peter, and told him that if he ever dare reveals what actually happened to his younger brother to anyone, he was definitely going to suffer the same fate. As Jerry and Jackson took little David's mortal remains to the mortuary on that day, they asked Peter to remain and clean the blood spatter that had actually been where little David was killed. When Maureen got this news, as devastated as she was, but she needed to get justice for her son, the police were actually not helping her, and the only thing she could do was to go to TV stations and news platforms to cry and beg for Kenyans to help her seek justice for her son. When Kenyans got the news of how little David met his untimely death, there was actually a public outrage, and they began posting on all social media platforms with the hashtag Justice for Little David. This drew the attention of the Department of Criminal Investigation, and they picked up the case immediately. Maureen was contacted, and details of what the Department of Criminal Investigation had to work on was given, and they began tracking Jerry and Jackson. It would take a whole month for the couple to be on the run, and recently they were arrested desperately trying to cross the Kenyan-Tanzanian border. Through phone records and bank transactions, they were traced to a remote village. They have been trying to cross the Kenyan-Tanzanian border. Jerry and Jackson were eventually transported back to Nairobi. They will be making their first court appearance in the weeks ahead. This is the issue I have with this case. The mortuary attendant that actually received little David's mortal remains in the mortuary didn't do well. I cannot imagine that a mortuary attendant will receive a corpse of a 3-year-old boy that was physically evident that the child had been battered to death without alerting the police or asking proper questions. It's quite questionable. That was very, very unprofessional. Secondly, Jerry entered a different name in the logbook, meaning there was no proper identification to make sure that she was actually the one that deposited the baby in the mortuary. According to the Department of Criminal Investigation, when an autopsy was carried out later on, it was proven that little David had burns under his feet, his palms, and his buttocks had been burnt, and he was missing a teeth. He actually had fresh wounds and old wounds, meaning the boy had been going through torture. Sometimes, instead of advocating for this justice when the deed has been done, just a single phone call can save a child's life. If we can just look around us and make just a single phone call to the designated agencies, some of these kids will be safe. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and that is it for Sad Reality TV with Melvis today. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do, as a free way to support my channel. You can equally visit my other social media account, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you all, and continue to stay safe and watch out for one another.